Yo, what's going on, peeps? Back again, Good, the Bad, the Ugly podcast. What we're talking about today, well, I've had a few phone calls once again from probationers. So I thought today I'm gonna talk to probationers specifically, but it also applies to most other people too. But it just seems like they need a little bit more help because, you know, they will be in their first 2 years. For anyone that doesn't understand what a probationer is, it's someone, most people should. In their probation, in the police, you have like 2 years probation. I don't know, it might be 3. For some reason, I think that it may be 3 for some other, if you went through different avenues into the police. But I'll stick with the 2. That's the traditional 2 years of probation. In those 2 years, you need to prove that you're competent enough to basically be a police officer. So you have like, well, when I started, bloody hell, you had a book in which you had to basically just tick stuff off. You had to arrest people, and you had to do like 2 or 3 of each thing and just show competency around it. Pretty straightforward. Wasn't difficult. Some things are a bit more tricky to get depending on where you are based, but realistically you could get most of it done like well within the 2 years, because I don't know if you get a full 2 years because you're doing other stuff. So, but you pretty much you'll get it done. It's not deliberately made so you can't, if that makes sense. So most people, it's not a problem. But what we're going to talk about today for the probationers, I'm going to say some figures to you. 126%, 123%, and 50%. What do you think that represents? Ding, 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 ding. Yes, that is for 126% more likely to get a Reg 13 if you're black. Reg 13 in probation is a big deal, yeah? 123% if you're Asian, more likely than your white counterparts, and 50% if you're mixed heritage. So I assume that's from the Baroness Casey's review. You can go find it any way you want. I assume the mixed is mixed any other. I'm only assuming because it doesn't say black and white, or it doesn't say black and Asian, or Asian and white. It doesn't say, it just says mixed. So I'm assuming any other mixed background, or any mixed background. Firstly, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't added in any others, but yeah, if you're on probation, you need to do your utmost. If you are not white, yeah, because, yeah, let me just stick to if you're not white, because that's what the numbers are all pointing to. If you are not white and you fit into any of those 3 categories, which you probably will, you basically need to avoid all the pitfalls in the Metropolitan Police. You need to essentially, you need to shut up and just do your work. Because what you'll find, unfortunately, there are people that dislike you. Baroness Casey has already established that the Metropolitan Police is institutionally racist. So I don't need to say, I'm just reminding you, yeah? And it's not just her that said it, it was the McPherson report. There's loads of reports that have said this already, so it's not a problem. We all understand and accept that, except the Commissioner. So that is what it is. So what you need to understand is that there are systems in place which negatively impact you if you're not white, which will it directly affects your job. So what it will be doing, and one of those things are the Reg 13, and the Reg 13 is basically it's a terrible omen if you're in probation, because what will happen, what it allows them to do in probation, okay, let me go this way. The Metropolitan Police find it really, really hard to fire people, as the Commissioner has said several times. He's like, oh, I can't fire these people. Unless you're in probation. If you're in probation and you get served the Reg 13, they can basically just terminate your contract. That's what they do. So if you're black or Asian and you've seen numbers, 126% more likely to get a Reg 13, that's how easy it is for them to fire you. So if you step a tiny bit out of line, and you don't even have to step out of line, you could just be standing there being black or just standing there being Asian, and someone doesn't like you, and all they have to do is make their little complaint, and that's it, you're gone. And the reason I say this, and I know it to be true, so it's not like I'm just making this up, because this is what my phone calls were about. So I received a phone call a couple of days ago, and someone I know quite well, and they were telling me, they were like, look, I was shocked. He was like, oh, I'm not in the Met anymore. I was like, what do you mean you're not in the Met anymore? He was like, yeah, I got a Reg 13, which we all knew about, but what he had done is he had completed his probation. So this is something that you guys need to understand, probationers. You'll finish all your books or whatever you have now, whether it's probably online now. You'll finish all the stuff that you need to do, but it still needs to be signed off by a supervisor. If your supervisor decides that he doesn't really like, or she doesn't really like you, you have a big problem. Because what you'll start to see, you'll be like, it'll be little things. You'll probably be thinking, oh, it's in my head. Or, yeah, you'll be thinking, what's going on here? It's not in your head. This has happened this has happened to me. So I can vouch for this too. It happened to me way back. You'll find line managers that are just like, I don't like that person for whatever reason. For some strange reason, it only happens to Black and Asians more often than not. And you will start to see them putting in extra things in place to make you fail. And unfortunately, there's not much you can do about that, because the complaint system, as Baroness Casey has pointed out, is inadequate. It simply doesn't work, and it disproportionately affects us negatively. It's one of the other systems that are weaponized against us. We can't really complain. People argue with me about this all the time. You can do an MM1, you can do a grievance, but as a so-called Fed rep has said to me, they're just going to use it for toilet paper. It's just ignored. They can just ignore it. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's not an effective way to be able to raise your issues with the police. So the only advice I have for you guys is this. You just don't do anything wild. You need to chill. And and it's going to sound mad. This is going to be contentious. But I promise you, if you do this, you will more than likely make it out. You need to stay away from women. If you're a man, especially if you're Black or Asian, stay away. Do not have any problems, especially in this current climate in the Metropolitan Police, with women. Because unfortunately, that's happened to a few people, and it comes across as it's being weaponized. Because this is, I've heard this story many times, and I know I'll get in trouble if I say it is da-da-da-da-da. So I'll say it comes across as though it is being weaponized against Black men. So you need to be very careful. And I'm not going to give the example in which I was told. I don't think it's fair, because there's still an investigation going on. So I'm not going to even remotely talk about that. But the advice I would give to especially Black men, or it probably affects Asians too, but I haven't spoken to any. This will probably come out in like 5 to 10 years, how it's being weaponized. I'm just talking about it now. So yeah, that's the main thing you need to do. You need to be very careful about the people around you and how you interact with them. Yeah, you need to just keep it civil, keep it calm. On to the next point. I can't reiterate this anymore. If you do, which you probably will by the statistics, in your probation, get a Reg 13, choose your Fed rep wisely. I've said this before so many times. You don't understand how important it is who your Fed rep is. Because they really are the mouthpiece for you, and they are the ones that that will intervene if there's a problem. They should, well, should intervene, because they don't always. So you really need to do your homework. If you need help, as I said, just reach out to me and I got you. I know a few Fed reps which 100% got your back. It's no problem. You do, and this is a mistake that I've heard a few probationers, the mistake that they've made. You need to stand up for yourself. So there will be a time where you feel like you need to stand up for yourself. You feel like you're being discriminated against, or you feel as though this isn't fair. Yeah, this isn't fair. What's happening right now isn't fair. What you need to do is you need to articulate that. And it's not, you need to articulate it in an appropriate way. So you can't just stand up and be like, this isn't fair, bang on the table. No. What you do is you send emails, you document things, and you tell your Fed rep to go and do this. Because in essence, so one of my biggest gripes with Fed reps is I'm not seeing enough of them intervening in wrongdoing. So they can see it, so they will agree with you and be like, this is wrong. The reality is that they can actually intervene. They should be like, whoa, pump the brakes, guys, that's wrong. And if they can see overtly, they should be like, no, I'm gonna report you for that. That's totally inappropriate. A prime example I can give you is, I was in a misconduct meeting, so I'll tell you my experience. I was in a meeting for misconduct, yeah? And you would see this in one of my older stories, so I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. in a misconduct meeting, and the chair of the meeting said to me, if he was there, he would have dragged me out my car and put me face down on the floor. For the person who's making the decision to then involve themselves in the situation, totally wrong. Yeah. So the fact that my Fed rep did not jump in and intervene and should have been saying, oh, that's wrong, that's inherently wrong, you can't be talking like that, that's abhorrent. Nah, my guy just sat there like this. And bear in mind, this is when I was in my probation too. So I understand, I had that experience already. He just sat there like, and he was like, oh, Dom, calm down, calm down. I'm not going to say what his name was. He'll know, because he'll know me. He'll be like, oh, calm down, don't worry. And prior to going in there, his advice to me was, oh, this SLT member is old school. So, you know, if you just be nice to him, and I don't know how you lot feel about what old school means, but old school to me just means racist. And essentially what he told me to do is just, oh, just fall in line, agree with everything that you say, and you probably won't even get anything because I didn't actually do anything wrong. But yeah, he said he would drag me out of the car and dash me on the floor. My response to him was, literally, let's go. I said, that is terribly inappropriate what you just said to me. But if that's how you feel, if someone's going to say they're going to do something to me and they're right in front of me, I'm like, let's go. We can go now. He didn't take up the challenge, obviously, because you would have probably seen me in cuffs, because I would have won that 100%. But these are the challenges that you're gonna have to navigate. Do you get what I'm saying? Me personally, I got a written warning for it. And bear in mind, I'll tell that story another day. When you hear the story, you'll understand how racist the Metropolitan Police actually is. Next point, final point, and I've already made this, but I'm going to reiterate it. Guys, I'm talking to you. You need to be very careful when it comes to women in this job. That is one of the leading ways that officers get fired. You just, like, especially in this current climate, especially as they're chasing misogyny in the DPS, they're chasing all violence against women and stuff like that. So if you simply make a woman feel uncomfortable in the Metropolitan Police, just know the DPS will be on you like white and rice. So you just need to learn how to navigate those situations as best possible. And I know that's not fair, and I'm not going to try and tell you how to do that because it's mad difficult, but that's what I can say to you guys. Anywho, that's me for today. Peace. Hopefully that was helpful. If you've got any problems, just drop me an email or ring me on WhatsApp, as people have been doing. Instagram. Ring me on Instagram, as people have been doing. Anyway, guys, thanks. Yeah, like and all that stuff. Peace.